Shanti Shanti. So everything in our culture is meant to take us to that fundamental anchorage, to that deep anchorage within us. So these disciplines are important because of that. Not doing that, suddenly we cannot know the Upanishads, the Upanishadic truth. Those days, because these were the studies, there were no other studies those days. But all the learnings, whatever was being done, they were all meant to take us to, meant to anchor us to our real identity. Then Chando Jyotishamiti, Chandaha. You will find that Sanskrit has the speciality of expressing everything in terms of meter. Even the science of medicine, science of astrology, science of astronomy, everything in meter. The astrologers also, when something is happening, they will utter a verse in which it is said that if this happens, that happens, these are the consequences. Everything is written in, even the synonym, book of synonym, the Amara Kosha also. They are also written in, the dictionary is written in poetry. Everything in poetry. So the rhythm was given so much of importance in life because the whole earth is moving on a certain rhythm, and fundamentally we have to be harmonious with that rhythm. Rhythm has a great role to play in our life, in our movement, in our gait, in our decorating. Why Japan looks so nice? Why their art, culture, everything is so nice? Because they have incorporated the rhythm in everything in their life, in the art, culture, everywhere. In many of the Buddhist countries it has been there. They had given a lot of emphasis on the rhythm. In drawings you will find Japanese drawings. The moment you look at it, there is a beautiful, something is there which will attract you. If you see the people, now no, I don't know, earlier it was there, I have read, that even the movement on the road, particularly ladies with their umbrella and all, it used to give such a symphony, that such a good symphony would be there in everything, in the houses, wherever, that in our country also in some remote places it is that the houses are all in harmony with nature. So this Chandaha is very important. Now here there is a cottage, one storied cottage, next to that we build up a 24-storied house. And next to that there is a 200-year-old house which is, the plaster is falling off. There is no rhythm anywhere at all. Yesterday also I was saying that going towards Mango I find that the whole Jamshedpur has lost its rhythm. Jamshedpur had the rhythm when I was growing up here, that is 60s. It was so beautiful a town that when Jawaharlal Nehru came and opened our Jubilee Park, that 50th anniversary of Discourse, he mentioned there that it is the ideal city of India that I had in my mind, the model city of India, model industrial city of India, something like that. I don't remember the exact statement. He liked it so much. Everything was likable. Maybe it was not so rich or not so many cars were not there. But there was a rhythm, there was a harmony in the township. But over these 50 years we have completely spoiled, ruined the harmony. Because we don't follow that rhythm anything. That is why our Vastu Shastras were there. That Vastu Shastra is not only building the house, now Vastu is coming back in another desireful manner, that equally polluted by the people. We think that Vastu is only making my house so that I will have property, so put the door this way. And I will have a fame, so put the door that way. No, it is violating the fundamental principles of Vastu, and they are making money by that, doing only that, suggesting that. Vastu is the complete comprehension of the habitat of human being, civilization. It cannot be separately for one building. The whole township is identified that this will be the center, this will be around, these will be the roads directions are mentioned, where will be the gate of each house, that is mentioned. Around the township there will be trees, where will be the trees, where will be the agricultural center. The whole human habitat has been planned by Vastu. And there are 4 different Vastus which will differ because they have generated in different places. One might be applicable for Western India, another might be applicable for the Southern India. There are 4 principal Vastu Shastras. They differ in the orientation of the kitchen, in the orientation of the puja room, everything is different. But they don't go into that. The Vastu cannot be isolated for one building only. It has to be for the entire habitat. It's a harmony in human civilization. But that also we have polluted. So this Chandaha is extremely important. We should not think that it is only the prosody of or meters in the poems. If we live a harmonious life, then we will find this Chandas comes automatically to us. We don't have to undergo so much of learning, or if you undergo that learning, you will find that harmony dawns in everywhere in the life. So it's a discipline and it's a harmony of life. Chandaha means harmony of life. It should be there in our gait, it should be there in our taking food, it should be there in our speaking, it should be there in our working. Everywhere this Chandas has to be felt. Then only the life will be divinized. That is the greatness of the Upanishads. They don't speak of a truth away from the life. They want to divinize the life, harmonize the whole universe, so to say. Then comes the harmony in the universe. The last one, Chandaha Jyotishamiti. Now we did not have a separate astrology and astronomy in our country. Astronomy means we deal with the movement of the planets and all. And astrology means we forecast on the basis of the movement of the planets and all. So generally Jyotisha we use for astrology now. Is it not? Jyotisha Shastra. It's not that. Jyotisha is the Sanskrit word for astronomy also. And astrology also was a science based on the astronomy. Our people gave the idea of cyclic time. In Western science, time was linear. I don't know whether you have marked it. In Western science, time is linear. That is why we always look for the beginning of time, the end of time and all that. There is no beginning of time at all. It is a circular process because time means causality. That whatever is previous in time is the cause, whatever comes later in time we call it the effect. And it is always in a chain. You go on to the chain, finding out the chain of the parent and the son, it will be revolving. Any duality, it cannot come from one place. It has to be in a cycle. So they had introduced the cyclic time. So they found that everything in the universe is going on in a cycle, in some cycle. So that is the Jyotisham. If it is going on in a cycle, there will be a general effect on the civilization, on the mankind also, and in the individual life also, which is in harmony with nature. If you live in harmony with nature, then these effects will be more prominent in you also. Nowadays we live in air-conditioned room with the artificial lighting and all, so we meditate any time. Actually, if you meditate in the morning, if you are suppose in harmony with nature, what is nature doing right in the morning? The whole nature is rising towards light, is it not so? There is life forces coming in. If you feel the leaves, if you feel the plants, they are all becoming taut, they are moving towards light. Is it not so? So, is that the time to withdraw our mind and get into a thoughtless state? That is why people struggle against nature and they don't succeed. In the morning, early morning, in the Brahma Muhurta, when we are sitting for meditation, it is not for withdrawing from everything and getting into a zero position. In harmony with nature, we should expand our mind. It is called Ananta Samapatti. In Yoga Shastras, the meditation, there are three things. Sukhasanam, comfortable posture. Prayatna Shaithilya, effortlessness. There should not be any effort at all. Effort means stress, stresslessness, effortlessness. And the last one is Ananta Samapatti. That means inducing infinitude in us. Just allow yourself to spread into this space fully in the infinite. Then it will be in harmony with nature. As the nature is blossoming, it is rising to life, moving towards light. We will also move towards light, towards space. We will find beautiful knowledge, whatever we are finding difficult to grasp, it will all automatically dawn in us. See, buddhi has two elements. What we generally call buddhi is the outer element. That is effortful buddhi. We try to analyze, rationalize, think, and then finally assert that this is truth. Actually, buddhi is coming from bodhi, or the fundamental intelligence in us, which is revealing everything. That revelation does not come out of effortful resolution like that. It automatically dawns. One fine morning you find that the truth has dawned in you. Truth means whatever you are trying to find out in anything, even about science also. You will see art, science. Many of the scientific discoveries, when they get up from sleep, it simply dawns in your mind. Because in sleep the mind remains restful. So when you get up, automatically the truth dawns. We generally in English refer to as intuition. It is not the intuition, it is the real direct revelation in our bodhi, in our prajna. It does not come out of effortful logic and analysis and all that. That is the outer expression of the buddhi. The real buddhi is within. It just simply reveals. Like that, when in the morning we meditate, that various enlightenment, enlightenment will be dawning in us. Various truth about the society, about our life, about truth. It will simply dawn in us. In the evening, what is the nature doing? The whole nature is folding up. They are withdrawing from life and getting into sleep. That is the time we should do a meditation where we want to become zero. You get into the zero state. Then it will automatically follow nature. So if we live in harmony with nature, then life will become facile, it will become easy. This easy life, the sahaja, in the next few verses it will come. They are only projecting this sahaja bhava. We are making everything effortful. But the real truth lies in sahaja bhava. Everything should become sahaja. The truth lies in sahaja. It is not effortful. The whole universe is undergoing so much of activity. The galaxies are getting born, the galaxies are getting into the black hole. How much of activity is going on? Can you even imagine? Even a leaf, last night you saw the leaf is not there. This morning it has grown. How many molecules are there if you count? What kind of activities are taking place in nature, in small things as well as in the universal scale? We cannot even imagine how much the earth has gone around in one night. We cannot even imagine, but all these activities are sahaja. There is no effort at all. It's just happening, just going on. That is the fundamental of spiritual sadhana, to become sahaja. This Jyotisha is the learning the discipline in nature, in the universe. That is learning the harmony in nature. It is the universal harmony. One is the chandaha, is the harmony in life. You extend it further to the universal level of the planets and the stars and everything, then it becomes Jyotisham. Then last he says, Atha para yayata daksharam adhigamyate. And these are all inferior knowledge. What is the superior knowledge or supreme knowledge? Atha para. Para means the supreme knowledge. What is that? Yayata daksharam adhigamyate. By which this unchanging transcendental truth is actualized. Upanishad, when we study, it is not actualized. We are reading about it. That is why it is inferior. When it is actualized, it becomes the para. With the fire, if you take a picture of a fire, you cannot cook with that fire. But when you have the real fire, then it becomes activated. This truth is about our own self, about our own identity. When it gets actualized, then we realize the truth. This realization is called paravidya. Yaya tadaksharam adhigamyate. Om bhadram karne bhishnuyama devaha. Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraha. Sthirairangaistushtuvam sastanubhihi. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Swasti na indro vriddhashavaha Swasti na pusha vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksyorishtanemihi Swasti no brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Hari Shaunako Havai Mahashalaha See, it is there Mahashalo. Actually, the Visarga gets dropped and the two gets joined Mahashalongirasam. So, I am splitting, so I am adding the Visarga there. It can be either way. Shaunako Havai Mahashalaha Angirasam Vidhivadupasanna Papracha Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti tasmai sahovacha dve vidye veditavye Itihasma yad brahma vido vadanti parachaiva paracha tatra para rigvedo yajurvedaha Samavedo atharva vedaha Shiksha kalpo Vyakaranam niruktam Chando jyotishamiti Athapara Yaya tadaksharam So we should not forget whatever we have studied. He said that the both inferior and superior vidyas have to be learned. Because this is not just a knowledge, collection of knowledge from reading the book or listening to the lecture. The knowledge means a complete transformation of our own being. Because this is all we are studying about our real identity. So if it is said that the soul is unaffected, the soul is all-pervading, infinite, and we don't feel our identity to be like that, our I to be like that, then the knowledge is not realized, it does not become useful. It remains only a secondary knowledge. Everything about this subject knowledge discussion will have to be a first-hand discovery for ourselves, because we have to realize it within us. Suppose when it is said that the mind becomes absolutely blissful, comfortable when all the thoughts are gone. Now unless we have that experience, it does not become useful. We have to experience it. Suppose we are always bothered by the irritating thoughts or disturbing thoughts, anxiety, anxiousness, fear, etc. Now they are all originated from the mind, and it is within our capability to make the mind free of all those things, because the mind is most comfortable when those thoughts are not there. But although we are hearing it, we are listening to it, but we are not able to, again we are getting caught by the same thing. That means it is not getting realized. There lies the difference between knowing and realized. Everybody will understand that when the disturbing thoughts are not there in the mind, we feel most comfortable. But again we harbor, we ourselves invite the disturbing thoughts. That has become our habit, our nature. So we are not able to get out of it. This is the difference between Viveka and Vairagya. In Sadhana Chatushtaya, the first two qualities are Viveka and Vairagya. Viveka is to, first of all, know by discrimination which is auspicious and which is inauspicious. In Kathopanishad, it is Shreyas and Preyas. Preyas means which is immediately pleasant, but ultimately not auspicious, which takes us away from the auspicious goal. That any sensory enjoyment is like that. Enjoyment is overindulgence is like that. Immediately it is very pleasant. Even speaking ill about others also, immediately we are enjoying. That is why we are entering into the gossip of that kind. Otherwise we would not have. So it is pleasant, no doubt about it. But it makes our mind disturbed. So we are not able to attain the auspicious goal. So, although we understand this discrimination is there, what is good, what is bad, but we are not able to do. So it is not called Viveka really. Just the discrimination is not called Viveka. In Vedanta, the Viveka is spoken of in a little different sense. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. That means which always discriminates between permanent and impermanent. Here I said between Shreyas and Preyas. That means what is immediately pleasant, but ultimately not takes us away from the auspicious goal. And what is ultimately auspicious. It might be immediately unpleasant also. Any discipline, you ask a boy, they don't want to study. They want to play. Because any discipline is immediately, Bhagavad Gita says, Yat tadagre vishamiva pariname amritopamam. Initially it is like visha, like poison. But later on it is like amrita. All our disciplines are like that. That when you are putting the boy into studies by forceful, he is not liking it. It is vishamiva. Studying is like poison to him. But when he studies and finally he gets the joy of wandering freely into the world of literature, then he gets the joy of it. It is pariname amritopamam. Any discipline, music, sports, everything. When you are undergoing the discipline, it is very hard. But once you have mastered the discipline, the whole being becomes orderly, then you get the joy of it. So Bhagavad Gita says this is the Sattvika Sukha is always like that. Yat tadagre vishamiva pariname amritopamam. Initially it is like poison, but later on it is amritopamam. Anything in spirituality, and particularly Bhagavad Gita, it speaks only about discipline, nothing else. Because we are slave to the worldly things, worldly objects, worldly situations. We are slave to that. Unless we become master of that, we will not have the real placidity or joy or bliss. To be master of that, we don't have to work on the world at all. We don't have to change the world. We have only to get rid of our slavery to the worldly situation. And it takes us to such a condition that we become so unaffected by anything happening in the, we may lose everything, all wealth, all property, all relatives, fame, everything we may lose. Even then we will not be affected at all, because it is in our mind to get that position. So, everywhere it is talking about discipline. The whole scripture is about discipline. That is why people do not like it. Even if they know that the morning class, it is very good, etc., they find it difficult to get up. Now they find it difficult to get up means they are not able to take to the discipline. That means they have the discrimination that suppose one day you get up early and you find the joy of it also. Just not even the class. If you get up early and go for a walk also, you will find the joy of it. Getting up early is always pariname amritopamam. But one day you get up, but again you get caught by the, suppose one day you get up and you experience it also. But thereafter again you are not able to do it. Because the vivek, that discrimination has not become real viveka. The real viveka is when whatever you feel to be auspicious, you will be able to take it. When the intelligence says that this is the right thing to do, you should be able to follow it. Then we call it Viveka. So in Shastras, in Sadhana Chatushtaya, we always say that Viveka must lead you to Vairagya. If Vairagya is the result of Viveka, Viveka is the cause, Vairagya is the effect. If Viveka does not produce Vairagya, throw away that Viveka. We don't want that Viveka. We know everything, we can give very good lectures on Vedanta, but we are in my own way, I am a drunkard, I am given to all kinds of intelligences, there is no discipline in the house, no discipline in the office. If this is the lifestyle, an erudite Pandit of Vedanta also, that Vedanta has no meaning, it is more harmful than beneficial.